But all is not well in the Indiana Fever fandom community, particularly the Caitlin Clark community, because even though they got a win last night, you got a lot of people that are still not happy. And they're still not happy with the brand of basketball that this team plays. And also, the other thing, and this is we kind of told you so. We told you so. Last night, the entire upper part of that stadium wasn't even open. They didn't even bother selling tickets for it because there was no demand.
Fans of Caitlin Clark have been reacting to Indiana Fever ticket prices dropping as low as $8, with resale tickets increasing rapidly across the market. Stephanie White was expected to bring stability and control to the situation, but instead of excitement, some fans feel the experience has been underwhelming, comparing it to a long, uncomfortable wait with little payoff. As a result, there's growing online discussion about how such a high-profile WNBA star has become associated with games where the arena sometimes appears far from full.
In those stands. I mean, and look at it. They got tickets available everywhere. The nosebleeds, the middle, the floor area, the club seats. Like, what are we talking about? And these aren't resale tickets. These are actual tickets that are available. And it's the home opener. And I saw somewhere where they done discounted them to $12. And see, this wouldn't be so funny if this fan base wasn't all about.
Before we move on, hit the like button and subscribe if you're enjoying this, because this one's worth paying attention to. In professional basketball, seeing $8 tickets usually points to one of two situations. Either the arena somehow scheduled a game at the worst possible time, like during a tornado warning, or the fan base has collectively decided they'd rather stay home and do literally anything else, like reorganizing kitchen drawers, than sit through what's happening on the floor.
Right here, the Crypto Arena holds 19,000 for basketball. And they only sold 12,000. There was only 12,605 people last night. They were down 7,000 people. And there was so little demand, they didn't even bother opening the upper bowl of this arena. Which leads me over to this, and let me just refresh this.
Unfortunately for the Indiana Fever, this isn't about bad weather. It's more about a growing sentiment among fans that the current setup just isn't making the most of Caitlin Clark's style of play. Some supporters feel like watching her operate in a limited, cramped offensive system is like having a racehorse and only using it to run grocery errands, something built for speed and impact, but not being used in a way that fully showcases its potential.
But it was one great point right before halftime where Caitlin Clark received a technical foul. The arena erupted. And it's a lot of Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark fans there, but they still erupted in applause. You know, no one's above the law, okay? Also, I want to note that there were a lot of empty seats, like sections empty. So I don't know what happened to the Caitlin Clark.
The surprising thing is that Indiana has actually picked up some recent wins, but the overall atmosphere around the team still feels oddly negative. In most sports situations, winning tends to fix almost everything. Fans usually overlook poor rotations, messy possessions, or even coaches who look so stressed they could argue with a parking meter. Typically, victories smooth over all the cracks like a layer of emotional duct tape, temporarily holding everything together.
Ratings are dropping some. This is crazy, man. Take a look at this here. The Indiana Fever posted this. Our first Lucas Oil family night of the season is this Sunday. Tickets start at $28. So for $28, you can get a hot dog, some Cheez-Its, a drink, and a ball cap. As long as you pay $28 to come to the game. This is craziness, man. The Indiana Fever wasn't giving out no deals.
But what makes this situation stand out is that fans aren't just judging the results. They're reacting to how the games actually feel to watch. And right now, a lot of people believe the Fever are taking one of the most electric players in basketball and putting her in a system that drains that energy instead of amplifying it. Caitlin Clark built her popularity on a brand of controlled chaos. Deep, fearless threes, sharp passing, relentless pace, and the sense that something unbelievable could happen at any moment. That's the kind of style that made fans stop what they were doing just to watch. She plays with the kind of confidence and creativity that feels like a point guard running on pure adrenaline and instinct. But instead of that fast, unpredictable rhythm, some viewers feel the current offense is much slower and more structured than what suits her best. The contrast is so sharp that the games can feel flat by comparison, almost like watching a highly energetic personality stuck in a system that moves at half speed. As a result, possessions sometimes feel drawn out and deliberate to the point where fans joke that there's enough time to do several other things before a shot even goes up, turning what should feel dynamic and explosive into something far more methodical and less engaging to watch.
Caitlin Clark has to free herself from this organization. At this point in time, they're not fully dedicated to the well-being of Caitlin Clark. I am convinced. They do not want those logo threes. They do not want Caitlin Clark to play her game. They want Caitlin Clark to be a part of the system that Stephanie White has laid out. This isn't Caitlin Clark's team. This is Stephanie White and Kelsey Mitchell basketball team supported by Caitlin Clark. That needs to change. Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA and the sole reason y'all is getting the money to build this big-ass practice facility y'all trying to do.
That's where criticism of Stephanie White has really intensified online, with many fans arguing that the current system is taking the energy out of the team. For a lot of supporters, the issue isn't even about wins and losses anymore. It's about how the team looks and feels while playing. The concern is that a player known for speed, creativity, and improvisation is sometimes being asked to operate in an offense that seems hesitant to embrace those exact strengths. What makes it more frustrating for some fans is that they feel they've already seen a better version of it earlier in the season. In stretches where Indiana pushed the pace, played faster, and allowed Clark more freedom to attack, the team looked far more dangerous. Defenses were constantly scrambling, transition chances opened up frequently, and the crowd stayed fully engaged because every possession felt like it could turn into something spectacular from long range or in transition. In those moments, the Fever looked looser, more confident, and more entertaining. By contrast, other stretches have felt much more rigid and slow, almost as if the offense is designed to minimize risk rather than maximize creativity. That's why fans keep circling back to the same question. Why is one of the league's best playmakers spending so much time off ball or waiting for actions that don't always seem to fully materialize, instead of being put in positions where she can constantly create?
They have completely screwed the pooch when it comes to this thing, and they have no one to blame but themselves. That front office, Kelly Crosskoff, Amber Cox, and that head coach, Stephanie White. You guys have brought this thing to a new low, it appears. I don't blame the people for holding out. We don't know what's going on with this back situation. All of a sudden, she needs a chiropractor every 5.5 seconds. I don't know what's going on, but you guys have blown it. This is the type of things that the Chicago Sky was having to do when Angel Reese was.
The criticism of Stephanie White has grown because fans feel the system is draining the energy out of the Fever instead of unlocking it. It's no longer just about wins and losses. It's about style and how a creative, fast player like Caitlin Clark is sometimes stuck in a slow, restrictive offense. Many believe the team looked more dangerous earlier in the season when they played faster and let her attack freely, creating chaos, transition chances, and excitement. Now, possessions often feel stagnant, with Clark waiting for actions that don't fully develop, which frustrates fans who expect her to be central to everything. As a result, online debate keeps focusing on coaching decisions, lack of pick-and-roll usage, and whether the system truly fits her strengths, especially when compared to the more dynamic, free-flowing basketball fans came to see in the first place.